Hey guys, welcome to Friday the 13th. As you guys know, we've been talking about for what, a couple weeks now, a week, I don't know, something like that, several days. We've been talking about what Friday the 13th is, what we should talk about, and we decided last week to talk about cryptids, some of our favorite cryptids, both from Celtic and Native American lore, as well as superstitions. So, and you guys are going to have to forgive us a little bit because we've got it kind of dark and spooky in here. I have my black contacts in and they're thick as shit, so I can't read. So,
yes, it is good luck day.
Yeah, I'm glad Pam can read because I'm like, what? I can't see that. So, have you guys had a good week? How has Friday the 13th been for y'all? I love all the little hands and the likes going up. Aw, yay. Well, we're going to get to it. First of all, let's talk about Friday the 13th. Traditionally, Friday the 13th is something that people consider a very bad day. It's unlucky, it's horrible, it's so on. But for me, Friday the 13th has always been pretty damn lucky. So one of the fun things about Friday the 13th, we've got our cheat sheets over here. So when you guys catch us looking back and forth, that's why. One of the funny things about Friday
the 13th. I read it in my glasses.
One of the funny things about Friday the 13th is that a lot of people really almost freak out. There's no real in between. I know a few people that are like, oh, I don't really care. But people seem to freak out. This is either their favorite day or they hibernate inside. They don't leave. They don't breathe. They don't do anything. It's kind of crazy. So I'm looking for my friend on here who's going to help moderate this evening for us, just because I know it's going to be a bunch of people in and out.
Okay, Crystal, just like say hi or something. That way you'll pop up there.
Yeah. So what should we talk about first? Should we talk about superstitions, or should we talk about oh, that's Sabrina. Hey, gal. Or should we talk about superstitions or cryptids? Which one? Which ones? We'll let you guys pick.
So has everybody heard about...
it is purple lipstick.
how it was Friday the 13th was kind of a day to celebrate. It was Freya's day. And it was about procreating and having all kinds of sex with all different kinds of people. And so the church demonized it and made it a day that is superstitious, a day that just meant something bad when actually we all need to just be all having sex.
So somebody asked what cryptids are. Cryptids are mythical beings. These are things like Bigfoot, Yeti, Mothman, the Loch Ness Monster, things that we can't really prove exist, and we can't really prove that they don't exist. These are mythological beings. There's a lot of lore out there on them, a lot of sightings and so on, but no, some of them have some tangible evidence, but not a lot. So yeah. So what would you guys like to talk about first? So, superstitions or cryptids? Oh, Wendigos. So those are ones that we are going to talk about. That's on our list. Pam has, blessed be, right back to you. Pam has a list of Native American ones that she's going to talk about, go over a little bit. I have some of my favorite Celtic ones, and then we have just some weird random ones that we both were like, what is that? We have to talk about them. So
we can't even pronounce. So
everybody's saying superstitions. So let's talk about superstitions first. So we have a long list of, I want to say almost 60 for y'all. So we talked about Friday the 13th. So here's one that I didn't know about. And if you guys live in these areas or you've heard of these superstitions, please feel free to pop up on here and say something, so on. So just so you guys know, we're probably not going to answer a lot of questions tonight. We're mainly going to talk about superstitions or cryptids. So this one is funny. This one started in Russia. You are not supposed to say happy birthday to someone early. It's considered horrible bad luck. So you have to wait till the day of their birthday or after. You cannot say happy birthday earlier. So
Oh, I see happy early birthday all the time on Facebook.
So Pam's fucking people up. Listen, you heard it right here. Pam is bringing people bad luck on Facebook.
I didn't say I did it. I said I see it all the time. I do good to wish anybody a happy birthday anyway, so.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Do you want to... Oh, this is a good one. So this is one that most people in the metaphysical community are huge about. Don't place two mirrors facing each other. This is supposedly opening a portal, allowing things and...
It makes an infinite reflection,
yeah,
which opens a portal and allows spirits to come in. And, a lot of times they're saying they're bad. They don't mean... They're nothing for good. So basically,
I'm going to scoot this forward just slightly because I can't read and I want to read y'all's comments. And I love the black contacts, but I'm kind of like, oh, shit.
Happy Freya Day. Thank you, doll. So I like this one. It says, don't go right home after a funeral. So it's a Filipino tradition called pagpag. Pagpag, I'm not sure. It dictates that people never go straight back to the house after a wake. Otherwise, a bad spirit might tag along and come inside. Mourners will make a stop at a restaurant or a store just in case. Well, we have a lot of those in my culture. One of the main ones that have to do with funerals is when someone passes away, someone has to stay at their home from the time that they pass away all the way through the funeral. The house is never left empty so that the spirit doesn't come back, that there's always going to be somebody there so that a spirit doesn't feel like they have to come back to that house. Also, we get cedar limbs and we sweep the house just like every room like you would if you were saging, but you do it with cedar broom. Basically, you make out of a limb, you make a broom and you sweep, and it basically just clears everything out, any residual that's left from the departed.
So oh shit, sorry. Somebody asked what culture this is. So
well, the first thing that I was reading was Filipino, but Native American, I'm Cherokee.
Yeah. And there are a lot of other cultures. Pam was talking about the Cherokee traditions of what to do to make sure that spirit, according to her culture, make sure that spirit, that person doesn't linger. There's a lot of other different traditions in different cultures for when somebody passes and so on. Connection back. There we go. That was weird. That's what happens. You start talking about weird shit and you lose your connection.
Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, we had some massive storms move through. Guess who got storm water?
Yeah. Yep. We have Friday the 13th stormwater. I got a really bad accent there all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah. Friday the 13th stormwater. Mm-hmm. That's going to pack a big punch, don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah, it's hopefully we won't have a problem with the connection again. We'll see. It says good connection now. I turned my Wi-Fi off and I'm running off of my phone, so we'll see. That's really weird. I've been having a lot of internet issues lately when it's been storming, and I live literally right in the middle of town, so there's no reason for this. So but one of the ones on here that I wanted to talk about, and this is actually an old Irish superstition. This is if someone gives you something sharp as a present, you need to give them at least a penny back. So say at Christmas, somebody gives you a really cool set of steak knives or something like that. You better give them a penny, because this means that this blade can supposedly sever your relationship with them. So if you wanted to sever a relationship with someone, you give them something sharp, whether it's very sharp crystal, whether it's a knife or something like that. That is to sever your relationship. So
they just think you're being nice, but you're just trying to get rid of them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Just saying. So, yeah. Another one that originated in Japan is putting your chopsticks straight up and down into your food. So you don't stick your chopsticks straight up. In fact, putting them in there and pointing your chopsticks at anyone or just putting them in there is actually considered rude. But putting them straight up like that looks like the Japanese number 4, which means death. The incense sticks also used at funerals look like chopsticks sticking up. So you never ever put your chopsticks sticking straight up and down. So if you guys didn't already have that weird, cool superstition, now you've got it. So I'm just saying.
Also, superstition is horseshoes. Horseshoes are considered good luck. We've always had horseshoes above our entry doorway, but you always want to face them with the open side up so that luck can come in.
I'm going to move my
So if you have it upside down, you're impeding the luck coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And another thing, this is more of a metaphysical superstition, but you can hang a piece of iron over the door, such as horseshoes, etc. A piece of iron itself over the door to ward off evil spirits, to keep ghosts out, and so on. I actually, over my door, I had to look up because my door's right there. I have an old 1920s hay hook hanging over my door, so dual purpose there, you know. Well, my short ass can't reach it anyway. I was going to say, you know, if needed, I could always, you know, use it as a weapon, but I can't reach it anyway.
So another good one is whistling indoors invites evil. Whistling while you work may be an issue in Lithuania, where it's forbidden to whistle indoors because the noise is believed to summon demons. I can remember we were not allowed to whistle in the house. I can remember that, you know, a lot of these superstitions start because they want kids to mind. A lot of things are to scare young children into basically listening to their parents. We couldn't sing at the table. When I was a child, we ate every meal at the table all together, and we were not allowed to sing. And to be honest with you, I don't know the superstition behind it. I think that my grandmother was just trying to get us to mind and to listen to her. So I think that's what that was.
Mm-hmm. So another one is, this is an old German superstition. Don't do your cheers for a toast with water, because this means you're actually wishing death upon someone. So there you go. The next time you're at a wedding because you don't like who your sister's marrying this time around, go ahead and cheers with that water.
How about with my first wedding, we toasted with water.
And that's why it was your first wedding, right?
That's why it was the first one. Damn. Okay, well, there you go.
Just saying what we're saying. Just saying what we're saying. Well, hi in Ontario.
Well, that sounds cool. Someone said here that a mom always said that a visitor had to leave out of the same door that they entered. Not sure why.
I don't know either. I don't think that's actually on our list, but that is something that I have heard of. Just like here's another one that's not on our list, but it's one that Pam and I both kind of practice a little bit. If someone opens a knife and then hands it to you, like a pocket knife or whatever, you don't close that knife. You let the person that opened it close the knife. So there's been a few times I've handed Pam a knife at a convention or something to cut some twine, and she's handed it right back to me for me to close it. So, yeah. So let's talk about these two. I'm going to let Pam talk about the first one, and then I'm going to talk about the second one. It's where you put your head when you sleep. So you guys think about this and think about what way your head faces. So
you avoid sleeping with your head to the north because according to Japanese superstition, sleeping with your head in this direction is bad luck because it's how the deceased are laid to rest. Now, that's a little bit different in my Native American culture. We don't have our beds facing the west. East is fine, but not west, because east is the direction we come into the world, and west is the direction that our souls leave when we pass over. So that if your head is facing to the west, you are going to have bad dreams. You're going to have spirits that are passing through that you're sensing, and it's very scary. So we never had our beds facing west.
Well, Pam talked about both of them because I was going to talk about your head to the west. That one is actually a superstition in Africa as well for that same reason. But guess what? Way my head faces in my bed to the west. But the west is also my chosen direction. So this, to me, superstitious wise, is not so much a big deal just because this is my chosen, I don't know, it's the direction I identify the most with because it is the land of the dead. And being that I do a lot of mediumship work and so on, I'm okay with it that way. So, Pam, clarify which way you would point when you sleep.
Mine is face north, which it says not to do, but, there's only so many directions, so I don't know what to tell you, but I would never put it facing west.
Yeah.
East is fine. North, east, and south are fine, but not west.
I'm just going to be like, I'm going to keep mine to the west. All right, so let's talk about this one. In Britain, it's considered bad luck to put new shoes especially, on the table. So I know I'm guilty of this. You come in from shopping, you throw your bags on the table. Well, if you're throwing your shoes on the table, new shoes especially, this symbolizes the death of a loved one. So if back a long time ago, if you put someone's shoes on the table, that was a way to let their family know that they had passed away. So it's bad luck to put someone's shoes, especially yours, on the table. So
itchy hands have financial repercussions. Everybody, you hear, oh my gosh, I'm going to get money because my hand's itching. I've always considered my right hand itching is not very lucky for me because my right hand is the hand that I hand money to people with. My left hand itching is good luck to me because that's the hand that I put out when I'm receiving money. That's just my personal thing, and that's what I go by. Mm-hmm. But always when people say, oh, my hand's itching, so, that means I'm going to get money, so I need to go to the casino or go to bingo or whatever. Mm-hmm. Or go play the lottery.
So it kind of depends on which culture you're from. Some cultures believe that left hands, that's bringing you money if it's itchy. Other people believe that right hand is bringing you money. Personally, I believe that if my palms are itchy, I'm getting money either way. Because mine don't itch very much, and I have noticed when they do, either hand, and then something usually comes in. So here's a good one for those of you crafters out there. Don't play with your scissors. I know I'm guilty of it, sitting just snapping them back and forth, but this actually is supposed to bring you bad luck in Egyptian culture. So,
and it's dangerous.
Don't play with your scissors. Just saying. So here's a nice funny one.
So unlucky all around, but just go with it. Stepping in dog poop is actually considered good luck in France if you do it with your left foot. It's only bad luck if you step with your right foot.
Yeah.
I think it's bad luck all the way around.
I just don't want to do it.
And how about everybody pick up their dog poop and we won't have that problem? That's where I'm at with that. So, go on.
I don't know. It's just funny. There was Pam's PSA for the evening. Just pick up your dog shit.
Pick up your dog poop. That's all we're asking.
I'm not afraid to say shit on TikTok Live. Shit, shitty shit. All right. So I'm sure I'll get banned for that. Oh, well. Here's one that everybody has heard. If you spill salt, you better toss it over your shoulder. But which shoulder? And how much salt to toss? So, for most of human history, salt is something that's very protective. Sometimes it's actually been worth its weight or more in gold because of all of the things you can do with salt. So, one of the superstitions is that salt purifies the soul and wards off evil spirits. What?
I said that needs to be a shirt. I imagine pick up your dog shit. I don't know.
Tara, I know I saw you on here. Are you keeping track of the shirts we need to make? I'm just saying.
That's right. We're going to be coming up with a lot of little.
We'll get a picture of Pam doing this and going, pick up your dog shit. I don't know. There you go. Shirt. All right.
So spilt salt should go on over your left shoulder. That's what I've always heard, and it wards off evil spirits.
So for those of you guys that are just operating in the metaphysical realm, you're just learning how to and so on, salt is something very powerful that you guys will want to have around a lot of. If you're using salt for a protective reason, you want to use non-iodized salt or sea salt. I love sea salt. And yes, you can get the cheap-ass sea salt at Walmart or whatever. Just
Dollar Tree.
Dollar Tree. Yeah, Dollar Tree has humongous things of kosher salt, of large non-iodized salt.
So don't go get the Morton's iodized salt and open that and use it.
Yeah, not for protection, not for spell work, not for things like that. You want to use non-iodized soap. Soap. There you go. Soap, salt. I mean, you can use soap too, I guess. You can wash them evil spirits, bad mouths.
There you go.
Just saying. All right, what's next?
Bird poop.
We're gonna let Pam talk about all the poop.
If a bird poops on you, it is good luck.
Oh, hi, Daphne.
Hi, Daph. So I have heard this my entire life, that if a bird poops on you, that it is good luck. And I would always say, why would that be good luck? And they're like, look at the odds. Mm-hmm. The odds of you standing in that particular spot as the bird's flying over, as it poops, and it poops on you. So that's kind of an odd, kind of a rare type thing, so that it is good luck.
So here's a funny Mandy story from my childhood. So I grew up in Colorado, and there was one time we went with some friends of ours to the Denver Zoo. And at the zoo, we had my friends, her parents, and their aunt was with them. Well, she had like the old school lady beehive. This is back in the 80s. Well, this bird in one of the aviaries shit in her hair. That I guess it thought it was a nest. She actually had a bird up there for a little bit. And this lady had an amazing beehive that she didn't notice the damn bird was there until we went to leave. And when we went to go out the door, the gentleman at the door stopped us and he said, she can't leave till the bird leaves. And we were like, what bird? And he pointed up, and sure as shit, there was a little tiny bird in her hair, in her beehive. But yeah, she actually wore the poo in her hair the rest of the day because she was so excited that a bird not only sat in her hair, but shit in her hair. So in the middle of summer, she wore the bird shit. I would have gone home.
Guys, I am almost 52 years old, and I've only had a bird poop on me one time in my entire life. Yeah. And trust me, I've been out in nature a lot. So I considered it good luck. A good luck poop.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Owls. Oh, we've got a couple about owls, guys. So according to an Egyptian superstition, if you see or hear an owl, terrible news is coming. There's a whole bunch of different views on owls. So I'm going to let Pam talk about the next one on here. And then we're going to talk about Celtic and Native American traditions and superstitions with owls.
And an owl in your house brings death. I'm not sure how the hell an owl would get into your house, but I imagine it probably does happen. Maybe not so much now that, there's air conditioning and heat. And, back in the day, you had your windows and doors open. So, it was a foretelling of a death, an imminent death.
So somebody said on here, owls are good luck and a link to the spirit realm.
Absolutely.
I agree. That's how I see them as well.
Agree.
According to a lot of Celtic and Norse superstitions and traditions, owls are messengers from the other side. So depending on which owl, what color, where you see them, and so on, that's what determines what kind of message that owl is bringing. I personally see owls as wisdom and as good luck, because you don't see owls very much.
In the Native American culture, people are terrified of owls, and I don't get it. I really, nothing about an owl scares me. I've always loved owls.
So not that long ago, Pam and I took a camping trip, and this is probably more going to fall along the realms of the cryptids, and we're going to talk about this here in a little bit, but we had a really unique interaction with an owl that at first scared the shit out of us. But before we talk about cryptids, here in a little bit we'll talk about what happened when we went camping, because it was a very, very interesting thing. So so let's talk about knitting. How many of y'all out there knit? So if you knit outside during the winter, you're going to prolong the winter. So don't make us come find you.
If you're in Iceland, keep the knitting inside the house.
Yeah.
And doing your needlework on your doorstep will keep those temps frigid.
So first of all, why are you sitting outside knitting when it's cold? I don't understand. But yeah, y'all knitters, don't you be doing it outside in the winter. Just don't do it. We'll find you. Yeah, we'll find you. Not really. We're not going to find you.
So don't play with yo-yos. Syria actually banned yo-yos in 1933 over fear that they would cause a drought. The jury says the jury is still out on fidget spinners. God, I hate those.
I love fidget spinners. So what do y'all think about that? Don't play with the yo-yo because they could cause a drought. I'm curious.
I don't even know where in the hell would you get that information.
I don't know. Somebody probably couldn't.
They
couldn't yo-yo.
See, somebody's kid was acting a fool with a yo-yo. And so to get him to mind and to get him to stop jacking around with the yo-yo, they told him some cockamamie story that just kind of went viral.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my theory.
All right. So don't go get a haircut on Tuesday. This is a superstition in India that if you get a haircut on Tuesday, it will cause bad luck. So don't you go out for those Transformation Tuesdays and get your haircut. Just saying. Just saying.
I get my haircut every month on a Tuesday.
All right. Well, Pam's causing all the damn bad luck.
It's me, y'all. It's me. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know. I don't know.
Black cats.
Oh, thank you,
Superstition
Daphne.
that black cats are bad luck. It's a tough one for cat lovers to swallow, but in the Middle Ages it was thought that witches kept black cats as companions or familiars. Some people even believe that these kitties could turn into witches or demons after 7 years. Powerful men like Hitler and Napoleon Bonaparte may have been prepared to conquer nations, but both were terrified of black cats. And y'all, I think that is so horrible because so many of them are killed for thrill, and I think it's just horrible. And
yeah. So one thing, though, if you guys ever would like to fall down a rabbit hole about cats, according to Egyptian culture, cats were very revered. Black cats especially were revered because they were said to be able to walk back and forth between this realm and the next. Every single cat color means something different. So most ancient Egyptian homes, towns, etc. would have cats of every single color because they all were for something different. So black cats were highly regarded as an amazing thing to have in temples, around places, spiritual places, because they were said to have been able to traverse the veil to go back and forth. So
yeah, we love black cats. Love, love, love. I love all cats, so it doesn't matter what color.
The dead did fear the white cats, so they kept white cats as protection, believe it or not. Instead of the black cats, it was the white cats. So let's see here. Giving yellow flowers is actually not nice, and this is a curse in Russia. If you give someone yellow flowers, it means you are cursing that person with infidelity. You're learning all of the things to do to fuck someone over.
Yellow
Give them
roses,
something sharp.
And now
I love yellow roses.
Yellow roses are a sign of friendship. So you give yellow roses as a sign of friendship. So who's right?
Yeah. It's all in the attention, right? So the next one is spilling water behind someone. In Serbia, this is believed to bring good luck if you drip water behind someone. Now, dumping it on them, however, is a whole other matter.
Get your ass whooped.
Yeah. But if you want to bring someone good luck, you drop a little bit of water behind them as they walk. Maybe as they walk away.
Wedding bells ward off evil. Irish brides have been known to wear bells on their dresses to ward off evil spirits who might try to ruin their marriage. I call her Karen. Anyway, as opposed to relatives who have too many spirits and end up ruining the wedding. Yeah, there's always that drunk uncle. Anyway.
Yep. So in Rwanda, superstition states that women should not eat goat meat because it could cause them to grow facial hair. So if y'all women don't want facial hair, don't be eating goat meat.
I've never had goat meat, and I'm slick as a baby's bottom. I don't guess I've ever eaten goat meat. I wouldn't know, but anyway.
See, this is how Pam is all the time. We'll be sitting here, I'm the goofy, fucked up one, and she randomly just pops something out just as flat-faced and dry as possible, and it's like the funniest shit. It's the funniest shit. It's funny as shit.
Poor goats. But you know what? Goat meat is the most consumed meat in the world.
Yep.
I've never had it, and I probably don't really care to have it, but... Oh, thank you.
What needs to be a sticker? Someone said that needs to be a sticker.
It's the native in me. Oh, my grandmother, great-grandmother are, yeah. That's where I got my humor, for sure.
So if you guys are just joining us, this is our normal Friday Night Live. It's just a little different. So every Friday at 9 p.m. Central, the Pam and I get on here. We talk about usually 3 topics, and then we answer questions. Being that it's Friday the 13th, we thought we'd talk about superstitions and cryptids. And wow, we're getting Jesus a lot tonight. So I totally appreciate, guys, when people come on here and they want to talk about their religion and so on. It kind of cracks me up when we get Jesus, but it is what it is. I actually am ordained, have been ordained for a long time, have performed multiple weddings, funerals, etc. Pam is also now ordained, but just because we believe something different than you guys believe doesn't mean that, we need to come on your lives or videos and do some shit like that. But hey,
Jesus loves witches.
And he wears
plaid.
And
he wears plaid. There you go. Okay, so let's see.
Back on track. Where are we at? Pregnant women. Let's talk about some pregnant women's superstitions.
Pregnant women should give in to their cravings.
I mean, we usually do. It's a Canadian
superstition that expectant mothers who are craving fish but don't eat it will end up having a baby with a fish head. Oh, wow. You should not eat asymmetrical foods. There's a Korean superstition that nibbling unshapely food while pregnant means you will end up with an ugly baby. Wow.
So I noticed someone on here said they ordered a veil kit. So we did have veil kits. We had a whole bunch go out this week. We had some weird thing where PayPal was holding people that had paid, and we had no idea there were orders sitting there. So they are going out tomorrow. So if you guys paid through PayPal, they'll be going out tomorrow. But
yeah, we got that straightened out today. So those will go out tomorrow.
Yeah, so I apologize if you haven't gotten it yet, but the ones that were paid through the site went out. It's just PayPal was hiding some shit from us.
So I was always told on this eating foods that you're craving. I've heard a lot of instances where it's true that if a woman craves a certain food, that a child will actually be born with an allergy to that food. And I have heard a couple of people say that that's actually true.
So what's funny is I had very strong, weird cravings with both of my kids. My oldest son, I craved Taco Bueno, Pepsi, and tomatoes. Like, I ate Taco Bueno 3 or 4 times a day. This kid hates tomatoes. He doesn't really like Pepsi that much. And he is not a fan of Taco Bueno. He loves Taco Bell. With my youngest kid, I craved mashed potatoes and gravy and broccoli. Like, nobody's business. And he doesn't like either one of those either. So
you're only allergic to BS. I hear you. Same.
So let's see. We talked about the cravings. Let's see.
Oh, somebody said their daughter is lactose intolerant because of all the ice cream they ate.
Oh,
that could definitely be a reason.
So here's another pregnant woman superstition. In Korea, it said that pregnant women should not eat asymmetrical foods because eating Yeah, eating an unshapely food. It needs to be symmetrical and beautiful. Means that you're going to have an ugly kid. Or did you already talk about that?
I did.
I'm on
but
crack.
It's all right.
I'm on crack. Don't
It's
listen
all
to
right.
me. I shouldn't say I'm on crack. Don't listen to me. Okay, so don't walk backwards. In Portugal, if you walk backwards, it is believed that you are showing the devil which way you're going. You are luring him to follow you. I mean, if he looks like the dude that plays Lucifer, I think I might be okay with that.
I walk all kinds of backwards.
Yeah. So.
All right. Don't walk under a ladder. So everybody's pretty familiar with this one, but some may not know that the superstition dates back to medieval times. The ladder back then symbolized the gallows where people were hanged. That makes a lot of sense.
So that's why you don't walk under a ladder. Be wary of the full moon. This one's funny. Full moons are commonly associated with chaos. Who doesn't talk about people acting crazy because of a full moon? So, according to Bustle online, it's a superstition in hospitals. Duh.
Anybody in the
metaphysical realm, yeah.
Medical. Mm-hmm. Anybody who's a nurse, anybody who works around patients, anybody, EMS, when it's a full moon. Mm-hmm. Teachers, because your kids act all kinds of crazy. So, yeah.
So someone said in Pennsylvania, it's illegal to walk backwards and eat a hamburger. I don't know if I could do that anyway, but here's a really cool one for you. Stupid. Did you know in Oklahoma it is illegal to put pants on a duck? So all of you guys out there in Oklahoma putting pants on ducks, y'all going to jail.
I think isn't it illegal to spit like on the ground?
I don't know about that.
I guess that's back when people were tobacco chewers and all that.
I just thought it was hilarious about putting pants on a fucking duck.
Customer service people, yeah, you for sure get the crazies.
Yeah. All right, so let's see here. You want to talk about the next one?
Go to the hospital on a Wednesday. An old wives' tale states that the best day to go to the hospital is in fact hump day.
So, that broken arm and that gunshot wound in COVID, that'll wait. You wait till Wednesday. You wait till Wednesday to go to hospital. Personally, yeah, I hate going to the hospital on a weekend, a Friday or a weekend. Like, fuck that noise. So usually if I have a migraine and it's that bad that I got to go somewhere, go to the ER or the urgent care, I'll just suck it up. I'll just suck it up. Like, I'm not going.
Don't say the same word at the same time as your friend, because you hear pinch poke, you owe me a Coke, or jinx, and that's kind of to break any kind of curse or hex, I believe, in that. Let's see.
Well, you'll never get married if you do that.
In Italy,
if you say Pam and I were talking and we said the same word at the same time, oh shit, neither one of us are ever going to get married. So to undo this, if you say this, you immediately touch your finger to your nose. No. I'm going to try it. So, how about broken mirrors? This is another superstition that everybody's familiar with. When you break a mirror, it's 7 years bad luck. Some people also say that if you buy a mirror that's broken or you break any kind of reflective surface, that's 7 years bad luck. Well, I break a lot of shit.
I don't think I've ever broke a mirror.
I don't know that I have either. I break glass all the time. Glass is not my friend.
Evil eye. A human look believed to cause supernatural harm is a well-known symbol of bad fortune, according to life science. It can be cast on people or even objects like your car or home. There are a number of talismans in many cultures created to ward off this curse, like the Hamsa.
So this is what people will wear, the little evil eye, the blue with the white and the black in the middle, to ward off the evil eye. It's a very, very strong symbol of protection. Some people say you can only be gifted one, but I actually don't really believe that. I've bought a few of my own. I do gift them a lot, but I buy my own. Or there's been times I bought one and Pam's bought one and then we just switched, things like that. But yeah. So it's kind of all how you personally look at it. So, yeah.
And I love this one. Is what I was saying earlier. Don't sing at the dinner table.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently in the Netherlands, singing your favorite tune means you're singing to the devil for your food. So interesting, because I had no idea. I just thought it was because my grandma wanted us to mind and do right. I don't know.
So let's see. Don't sit at the corner of your table. Another act causing you to be barren and not get married would be sitting at the corner of a table. And this is a Russian and Hungarian superstition. So I don't think this means like sitting at the edge. This means sitting at the corner itself.
The actual corner.
Don't sit at the corner. Okay.
You know, like you do at a restaurant when it's a whole bunch of you and you just kind of sit on the corner. Don't do it, y'all. Don't do it. Unless you don't want any kids or don't want to get married, then you're good to go.
Now this one is an interesting one, and I say we should bring this one back. Saying rabbit, rabbit every month. On the first of the month, you say rabbit, rabbit, or white rabbit. That ensures good luck for that month. And this is a common belief in Britain and North America. I've never heard of this, but I think now I should start doing it. I just want to walk around on the first of every month going rabbit, rabbit to everybody. Why not? Let's all do that. The 1st of September, we're all going to walk around and tell everybody rabbit, rabbit. Yeah. I feel like you have to say it weird too. Just saying.
This says don't wear red during a storm. In the Philippines, it's believed that the color red attracts lightning. I grew up with that superstition. We couldn't wear red when it was storming.
I'm glad I didn't wear my red sunglasses today.
I'm thrilled that you didn't wear those.
Maybe I should have worn them and it wouldn't have rained. So we took an outing to Walmart earlier to run a couple places to run some errands. I was going to wear these awesome ass red sunglasses I just got, and Pam goes, because she doesn't like them. So I didn't wear them. Yet it stormed like a motherfucker while we were in Walmart with hail and everything. So I'm just saying. I didn't wear them, so it didn't attract the lightning, but I'm just saying. So, yeah. The room is red, so I have these badass, I don't know where my thing went. I have these badass lights all around my house, and we can change them to any color. We just felt like red was a good color, but if you guys had ever been in our office, you know, we do blue. Ooh, let's leave it on blue for a while.
Let's do that.
Let's do blue. Yeah. Yeah, how about that? How about that? All right.
Also, a superstition that I grew up with, if it is storming and it is lightning, my grandmother would get up and cover all of the mirrors in the house. She would drape towels or whatever she needed to over the mirrors because of, I guess, attracting the lightning. I'm not really sure. But we would wake up in the middle of the night and it was storming and she'd be up covering all the mirrors.
So several people asked about my lipstick. So this, believe it or not, this is a really cheap CoverGirl lipstick, but it's dark purple and I put a like pink frosty color over it to make it this color. So I'm all about mixing some shit.
I've had more red cars than I've had any other color car in my years. So, and also, yeah, we couldn't take a bath or a shower if it was storming and lightning. Now, raining was fine, but if it was lightning, we couldn't take a shower.
Yeah.
So
I grew up with that one too. Don't take a bath or a shower when it's storming. My grandparents were that way and they would freak out. Like, no. My grandma would cover mirrors as well and things like that. Although not all of them, just some of them. But yeah.
No TV, yeah.
Yeah, no TV. So, all right, let's see. We did rabbit, rabbit. I love rabbit, rabbit. Guys, we're going to start doing rabbit, rabbit. I'm going to start doing a TikTok on the first of every month, telling everybody rabbit, rabbit. Just saying. Gonna happen.
Stay tuned.
Gonna happen.
Oh, and on the umbrella. For sure.
Don't enter a room with your left foot. So this is a problem for me. This is something that I grew up with, this superstition. It wasn't so much for this, but left foot will bring you bad luck. My problem is when I was little, I would have been a lefty if my grandparents had left me alone. So my left side is, even though I'm ambidextrous now, my left side is my dominant side. So when I take a step forward, it's always with my left foot. That's yeah. It's always with my left foot. But in Spain and several other places throughout the world, your left foot, if you enter a room with a left foot, it's considered bad luck.
Don't open an umbrella indoors. According to superstition, if you open up an umbrella before you head outside, bad luck will rain on you. There are some who say this belief came from the early Egyptians, while others say it came from the British in the 18th century when waterproof umbrellas with metal spokes and a large circumference could cause injury if opened inside of a home.
Woo! Someone said, I'm left-handed, and today is actually National Left-Handers Day. Woohoo! Happy National Left-Handed Awesome People's Day. Let's see. You should totally eat grapes on New Year's Eve. We meant to get grapes at the store today and did not, so we are failures, even though it's not your New Year's Eve. In Spain, instead of kissing someone at midnight, you are encouraged to eat 12 grapes, one right after the other for good luck. So one for every month. So I think I'm going to adopt that superstition because I do not like black-eyed peas, and my grandma used to make us eat black-eyed peas every New Year's Day.
Do you know I had my sons convinced that they had to eat 23 black-eyed peas on New Year's Day for them to have good luck. And I remember my youngest son, asking me a few years back, what was with that? And I was like, I don't know, I just made it up. And they believed it, so yeah.
So there is a tradition of eating black-eyed peas on New Year's to make sure, for luck. But yeah, I'm gonna start eating grapes. I like grapes much.
Yeah, let's do
better.
Grapes instead of I like black-eyed peas anyway. But anyway,
Pam can have all my black-eyed peas.
Hey, why 23? There was that just pink. Came out of my mouth because I wanted them to eat a good amount.
Well, hey,
they're good for them. So I told them how many. You have to eat 23, and they would literally count out 23 on their plate and not one more than that.
So we have some really fun friends on here this evening. So Okie Vet is right there. So if you guys don't follow Okie Vet, you absolutely should. He's hilarious.
Hey.
Him and his wife, they make some cute ass little videos. Also, Daphne comes in and out. If you guys ever see Daphne, it's like _S 2.0. She's about to have a baby, but she does awesome tarot readings. She is, if you guys have not ever caught any of my oracle readings on Tuesdays, I tend to cuss a little bit. I tend to not sugarcoat shit. Daphne is the same, and she may cuss at you in Spanish. So it's awesome. Go follow her as well. Yeah, we have a lot of awesome people that follow us this evening that are here online, and it makes me happy to see all of you.
I'm gonna put myself up there. I want them to...
So I've got the Pam jumping on here. Oh, we love you too, Clint. It's good to see you on here. We hope you had a good time in Florida. So there's the Pam. So if you guys don't follow at Native Dreamwalker, go do it right now, or she's probably going to take one of these superstitions and throw it your way. I'm just saying. Look at her face. Was like, what?
I would never, y'all. I would not do that. I would just appreciate if you did.
Yes. We need to get Pam to 1,000 followers so I can make her do dual lives with me. Yeah.
Y'all, I don't even have 500 yet. I'm working on it, but I don't have any content on there, and I know I need to. I need to. I'm not good at this stuff, so.
Yeah, it makes her squirm, so it's funny. I love social media shit. I've always loved social media, so I have no problem being on here. Pam, however, is like, I don't want to do it. That was the ugliest face, and I should never make that online again. I would say y'all don't ever look at my live replay, but I will be posting this bitch on YouTube, so shit. Okay. All right, let's see. Back. Where were we at? Okay, I love these contacts and hate them at the same time. They're slipping, and I'm like, I can't see shit. Okay. So hide your thumbs when you're passing a graveyard, guys. People tend to hold their breath when they pass cemeteries, but in Japan, you have to stick your thumbs in your pockets to protect your parents because this is the parent finger. So by hiding it, it's keeping them from passing away. So if you, I kind of dig this superstition a little bit. You know, hide your thumbs when you're passing a graveyard. One superstition I've always had that I grew up with was if you're in a graveyard or a cemetery, you do not step on a grave. You walk around them. If you accidentally do, you back up, you apologize, and you ask for forgiveness. So that's just like you hear people say, well, it looks like someone stepped on your grave. You hear that all the time. Well, I used to. I used to hear it a lot as a kid. So.
Listen for awkward silences. People associate awkward silences with a lot of different things, but some, according to stylists, believe that when these lulls occur, an angel is passing over. Oh, that's a nice thought.
That is a nice thought. I always make awkward silence.
I'm full of awkward silence. So, yeah, I got angels all around me.
I just chalk it up to sometimes I can't words correctly, and that's what happens there.
Hold your breath when you're going over a bridge, yes, or when you're going through a tunnel. Yep. Yeah, just hope it's not a very long one because, that could get hard.
Yep. So my sister and I, when we were younger, we used to always try to sing a whole version of London Bridge is Falling Down before we went over a bridge. So this is cool when it's a long bridge and then you're like, oh God, we got to start it over. But when it's a short bridge, you get very good at singing London Bridge is Falling Down very quickly. So I'm just saying. Yeah. But we also, like I said, I grew up in Colorado and there are a lot of very long, weird tunnels there. So you cannot actually hold your breath all the way through.
Planting rosemary next to your door, protective, absolutely.
So rosemary is protective in general. Yes. Metaphysically, rosemary is considered a very, very protective.
And the fact that you have a live, breathing, living plant that is full of protection right at your door, it's much better than having it in a bag above your door. So.
Oh, that was a dog. Something bumped over there. I was like, we're talking about superstitious
things
shit.
that go bump in the night, y'all.
All right. So don't step on a manhole. We all know, and we've said it as a kid, don't step on a crack. You'll break your mother's back. But in Sweden, you better not step on a manhole. Because if you step on one, especially with the letter A, it will bring you a broken heart. Manholes in general, if you step on them, bring you bad luck. So I have a weird thing. I don't like to step on them anyway. I actually did not know this superstition. I don't like to step on them anyway, and I will avoid walking on a grate on the concrete at all costs. I don't know why, and it has nothing to do with it or anything like that.
Been that way.
I cannot walk on one. So
don't trim your nails at night. They believe cutting your nails after the sun goes down is a big no-no. The superstition states that it can cause premature death.
So this is a Japanese superstition. So we already talked about salt. I don't know why that's on here. Don't chew gum at night. So in Turkey, if you chew gum at night, this is the equivalent of chewing on the flesh of the dead.
Oh.
I'm going to get me some gum.
That's morbid.
I kind of want to go get gum out of my purse and chew gum now. Sorry. Okay. I'm not sorry. Oh, this is funny.
Don't jump over your child. Another thing you shouldn't do in Turkey, jump over a child. Doing this will cause them to be short. Forever.
So, if you just want to curse your kid with being short, you should jump over them. Just saying. All right. Don't kiss babies on the lips. In Nigeria, if you kiss a baby on the lips, the legend says that you condemn them to spend their adult life drooling. So, if you really, really hated someone and you hated their baby...
Aside from the fact that you don't want anyone kissing your baby because of herpes and all the good little...
There's that.
Shit Ajax won't wash off.
Yeah. See, Tara said that's how she stops kids from growing. You just jump over them.
That's right.
Okay, you did not jump over your daughter enough then, Tara. I'm calling you out right now.
Oh, she's tall.
So, yeah. Tara's daughter is crazy tall. So, I'm just saying. All right. No bananas on board. So, fishermen used to refuse to bring bananas on their boat because it gave them a sense of control over very dangerous and unpredictable situations. I don't understand that one. But
neither.
Okay.
Carry an acorn to stay forever young. Ancient Britain often kept acorns in their pockets to ensure a youthful complexion. It may just be our favorite anti-aging trick. That would be easy.
Yeah. I carry an acorn all the time.
And I have one in my purse.
I'm 242. I'm just saying.
And I'm 247, so I'm just saying.
Y'all didn't hear that. People are going to think we're fucking witches if y'all start spreading rumors like that.
Don't spread rumors about us.
Jesus loves you. I can't.
Deadpan skill. What is a deadpan skill?
That's when you can, yeah. Pam does have the ultimate deadpan skill. That's where you can straight face say something like super serious. I have a problem, man. I can't. I giggle.
I can convince somebody of something and they're like, really? And I'm like, no. They believe it. I don't know.
Seeing with me, I can do the opposite. I can joke about anything, and you guys think I'm kidding, and I'm really not kidding. Is what it is. So we work well together, just saying. All right, so let's see here. Where were we at? Don't let your purse touch the floor. In Brazil...
I've heard that one.
Yeah, in Brazil, if you put your purse or your wallet on the floor, it means you'll become penniless. So even if you packed every fucking thing you own in your purse, which I tend to do, you don't set that bitch on the floor. I used to always set my purses on the floor, but now I have one that's a little more expensive, and that thing pretty much gets its own little high chair.
Mine weighs 17 pounds. It's got to sit on the floor. I'll break a chair with it.
Yep, don't count your money in public. There's another good one. Don't count your money in public. Anymore, I don't do that, more for safety reasons than for superstitions.
Beware of unlucky animals. People in Ireland and Scotland believe seeing a single magpie is bad luck. For South Koreans, the bird with the worst mojo is the crow. I don't know. I love crows. For the record, we don't believe anyone should discriminate against animals because of these superstitions.
Yeah. And there's a lot of different ones. Owls can fall into this. I mean,
black cats.
I've always heard that if you see the underside of a hawk flying, that's good luck. So there's all kinds of different things. You know, if you see this or you see that, it's bad luck. But, you know, it is what it is. So, all right. So, unlucky numbers. We've talked about Friday the 13th a little bit, but people also commonly fear 666 as the devil's number. But in China, the number 4 is actually feared because it's very close to the Chinese word for death. 4 is actually my lucky number. It has always been, and I love it. Let's see. Oh. In Italy, it's not Friday the 13th that is really feared. And Crystal, you'll love this. It's actually Friday the 17th that is feared in Italy. So everybody has lucky and unlucky numbers. So yeah.
Don't tempt your fate. In Cuba, if you declare that it's el ultimo or your last drink, then you're tempting fate and death will shortly follow. To avoid tempting fate is a common superstition among the public. For instance, one might refrain from stating, I never had cancer, and if they did, they'd likely proceed to knock on wood. And
we'll talk about knocking on wood in just a minute, because that is a huge superstition. I do it horribly. So let's see. Some of y'all are going to hate this one. Don't sleep with your fan on. How many of y'all sleep with a fucking fan on? I do. I do.
Two of them.
Many South Koreans don't sleep with fans running in closed rooms. If they do, it's believed to be fatal. To combat fan death, the legend says you have to leave the window or a door open.
Fan death. Never heard of it.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about knocking on wood. Who does that? Oh shit. God. It's just me. It's okay. Hey. It's okay. I did not mean. Hey, my dogs don't like me knocking on wood. Okay. Hey, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. These two little turds were both sound asleep. They were sound asleep. Good.
And she knocked on wood.
Jesus. Hey, sirs. It's all right. They're literally at the door barking. Oh my God. So knocking on wood is one of the most prevalent superstitions. People still talk about it. And here's what's funny. People of all backgrounds, my hair is crazy and I'm so sorry. I really look scary. I'm sorry. I can't not look at it now. Okay, so in almost all cultures, there's a superstition that if you say something or you think something bad's going to happen, even if it's just a coincidence, and you don't want to jinx yourself, I'm not going to do it. You knock on wood. So you can say, yeah, some people, my grandpa used to do that. It used to crack me up. But I even say, hey, knock on wood. I don't want this to happen. But this is something that I do all the time. In fact, I've had people say something and then immediately, I need something
looking
wood.
for wood. I do it all. I look for wood all the time. That sounded really bad.
Yeah. I thought it was funny. I didn't even get it. It went over my head. Well, those are the superstitions we were going to talk about this evening. Change our light color again. What color would you like us to change the light color to? First one to say something gets it. What are you barking at, sir? Nah.
Looking for wood. Purple.
Purple? All right, so let's see. We have that purple, that, or we have like a hot pink. That's not technically purple though, right? Let's do that. Okay, so there you go, purple. I forgot back here.
We'll do green next. We already did red.
Yeah, we did red. So we've done red and blue. We are now purple. Matches my lipstick. So, all right. So let's talk about some cryptids. Some cryptids, some crazy, I can't even get this thing to move. I don't know what I'm doing right now. Ugh, my computer hates me so damn much. So I pulled up a few of my favorite Irish cryptids. And some of these you guys will have heard of probably. Some of them you probably won't. And I just want you guys to know I have my braid in for protection, even with a snake on it and so on. So we're going to talk about some really cool Irish cryptids. We're going to talk about some Native American cryptids. And then we're going to talk about some from around the world that Pam and I both thought were pretty damn cool. So, you want to go first? Or would you like me to go first?
Go ahead.
All right. Let's talk about banshees. Who doesn't love banshees? This is probably, aside from the leprechaun, one of the most famous Irish cryptids out there. So the banshees actually originated... Oh, look at you with the scariness. Look at that. Look at Pam creeping up in my space all scary.
Scaring myself, y'all.
Let's talk about cryptids. Okay. Oh, that's kind of cool. All right, sorry. So if you guys have never seen one of these, this is actually a scrying orb. This is selenite. What that really looks like an eyeball. Mm-hmm. So this is a selenite scrying orb. You can see through it. Pam's being 12. So I'm just letting y'all know Pam's being 12. So, but this is one of my favorite pieces in my collection. So I thought I would bring it out this evening and play with it. So the banshee actually, what's funny is it comes from... Traditionally, there used to be women that were hired to cry at funerals. The ones that could wail the most and seem the most distraught over a death were actually paid pretty handsomely. And I cannot pronounce the Irish word for it, so I'm not going to try to because I will absolutely murder it. But the term... Right there.
I'm not even trying.
Yeah, I knew she wasn't going to either. So the term banshee actually came from the term meaning fairy woman, because fairies have believed to be very talented singers, more so than humans. So that's where the term banshee originated. Believe it or not, they were something good. They were to help the family grieve.
Help with the mourning process.
So, but now they are considered an omen of death. And they are the major fear of every Irish child. I grew up hearing about banshees and so on. As I grew up, I wondered if it wasn't something just to scare kids. But I remember a few nights whenever I would stay at my grandparents' house and being up in, north of Tulsa, where it's very flat and open when the storms roll through there. Sometimes the winds sound like a woman screaming, and so it would scare the living fuck out of me. I'm not gonna lie, but banshees are said to come by shortly before someone passes away. They are an omen of death. And if you hear one, if you ever watch the movie Darby O'Gill and the Little People, the banshees are in there. So if you hear a banshee, it's considered an omen of death, usually for you. So that is one of the most prevalent, aside from leprechauns, Irish superstitious cryptid out there. Superstitious is not the right. Irish cryptid. So I'm going to let Pam go on one of hers, and we'll just kind of go back and forth between some Irish, some Celtic, and some Native American cryptids, and then we'll move on to some cryptids from around the world.
The Wendigo is a supernatural cannibalistic monster believed by several Algonquin tribes, the Ojibwe, the Cree, the Innu. They reside in the forests of the Atlantic coast and Great Lake regions of North America. Appearing with some human characteristics, according to a majority of interpretations, an evil spirit possessing a human to monstrosity. A Wendigo is typically created through human cannibalism or by an individual overcome with avarice and greed. Mm-hmm. Described as extremely gaunt and emaciated with grayish skin, sunken eyes, tattered lips, and possessing a deathly odor. The Wendigo greedily feeds on human flesh. However, for each person it consumes, the monster grows even larger.
Yep.
So that it is always hungry and hunting. As such, the legend is generally associated with stories of insatiable gluttony and gratuitous murder.
Mm-hmm. The Wendigo are not good things. If any of you guys ever, one of the things, so I love the show Supernatural. One of the things I loved about it, because I have always been a nerd for this kind of stuff, is that they did their homework. So when they were talking about different cryptids, different magical things, practices, beings, etc., whoever helped write the show did their fucking homework. So the show about the Wendigo is actually the first one I ever watched. I didn't watch it from the beginning. I caught a marathon or something, but I started on the one with that, and it fascinated me so much because I grew up hearing some stories about the Wendigo. My dad is actually Potawatomi Indian, so we grew up hearing some different things. Well, Potawatomis come from the northeast up there, and that is one of their superstitions. So in hearing that and hearing that they covered it really well, I was like, oh shit, well, I'm gonna watch the show. But we had a lot of people ask about the Wendigo, so Pam had to bring that one up.
I mean, there's a true still to this day absolute fear of the Wendigo.
Yeah.
And yeah, you hear some stories of, I mean, you would think with how easy it is to capture things on video and pictures because everybody has a phone on with a camera. You would think that there would be a little more definitive proof, but a lot of times things like that are only seen if they want to be seen. So
exactly. So let's talk about one Irish cryptid that you guys may or may not have heard of, called the puka. So I think it's Hulu, there is a show called Puka. It has nothing to do with that. So the puka is actually a type of fairy in Ireland. These are seriously violent ass tricksters. They usually take the form of a black horse, and they love to wreak havoc everywhere they go. So when they take the form of a horse, they usually trample fences, they fuck up property, they mess up crops. If chicken or cows or other livestock see them, it's said that they won't produce, milk, eggs, whatever for a while because they're traumatized for weeks. But different areas in Ireland, the puka has different forms. So sometimes they look like large dark eagles. Sometimes they look like kind of the boogeyman, what you would think a boogeyman would look like. But pukas are Irish shapeshifters. They usually, when they take the form of a horse, it's to wreak nighttime havoc. When they take the form of a goblin, it's to steal crops or to claim their share of a harvest. So farmers used to leave part of their harvest out in the field to appease the puka. If they didn't appease the puka, they would demolish a whole bunch of shit. But pukas are also said to have mastered human speech. So they would stand outside and call the names of the people in the house. So say there was 4 people in the house. They would go through each person and they would call their name. And if someone didn't come outside, then they usually would vandalize the property. However, go ahead and take that vandalism, because if you go outside, it was said that the puka would drag you off and eat you, like seriously kill you. But some people actually think that Puck, which is a character in Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night Dream, is based on a puka, just because of how similar he is versus his behavior and so on. So the next time you guys hear or see that, you can think about a puka. So if you guys have never seen what most people have an idea what a banshee kind of looks like. Most people may have an idea of what a wendigo looks like. If you don't, if you guys hear any of these different ones and they kind of give you some chills or whatever, look up what they look like, because the word puka, it sounds kind of funny. It sounds like a Pokemon, really. However, if you look up what puka are thought to look like, it's kind of fucking terrifying. If you look up what a wendigo looks like, that's seriously terrifying. So even if you don't believe in this shit at all, just think about it a little bit. If you have something that can shapeshift, that can talk like a human, and that has a lot of power, that's kind of fucking scary. So it's no wonder we haven't ever seen one.
So another superstition that goes along with the puka that can mimic human speech, another Native American superstition is, and I've heard this my entire life, if you are out somewhere and you hear someone call your name and you know that there's no one there. It happened to my mother. She was walking in from work in the middle of the night one night, and we lived in the middle of nowhere, and she hears someone say, "Hey," and said her name, and my mom just instinctively turned around, and if they say if you answer to the voice, you know, to your name being called, that is a bad omen. So anytime they say if you hear someone call your name, you make absolutely sure that there is actually somebody there, because she looked and there was absolutely no one who would have been almost having a conversation with her.
So you want to go over your next one?
Yes.
We'll get Spooky Pam with this. Yeah, she does look spooky with the light like that. Look at that. You look spooky as shit. So you do that, and I'm going to play with the bones.
You can see every wrinkle I have.
Oh, she's so paranoid. I don't understand it. She cracks me up. I'm like,
so
stop it.
Skinwalkers. Skinwalkers are evil witches with the power to turn into animals and even possess the bodies of other people. According to the Navajo folklore, that it is a witch. Among other powers, they have the ability to turn into and disguise themselves as an animal. The animals most commonly associated with skinwalkers are those culturally identified as tricksters, notably the coyote, but can also include those reflective of death and darkness, such as wolves or owls. To become a skinwalker, it requires the willful murder of a close relative, and as such, they are both feared and reviled within Native mythology. Representing the antithesis of the supposed cultural ideas of the Navajo and their medicine men, that of healing and helpfulness, skinwalkers choose to instead manipulate spiritual magic to do evil deeds in a perversion against nature. In addition to their powers of physical transformation, skinwalkers can also possess the bodies of animals and people by locking eyes with them. So I think it's a big good time to talk about our camping trip.
Oh, yes. We talked about talking about our camping trip. We talked about talking about it. So a few weeks ago, and you guys probably saw I tried to do a Tuesday night live and I had no internet. We went camping down, where was it we went camping at?
In Gore, which is where I'm from, down by Lake Tenkiller.
So we went camping down on the Illinois River. I think we're the only tent campers out there. Everybody else was in a cabin. So the first night we had a raccoon. He got in our shit because I was dumb and left it out. So the next night we were, going to bed, and I apparently passed out pretty quickly before Pam did. Well, something woke Pam up.
So I hear, because it is all gravel, they took gravel out of the big huge gravel pits and put out the flat areas for the tents, and I hear 2 feet of like a person walking up to the tent, and which terrified me because it was a person, and a person is not going to be like an animal to just accidentally walk up to a campsite. And he was walking straight towards the tent, and I could hear the crunch, crunch, crunch in the gravel, and it stopped just outside of the door of the zip tent. And so I reached over and I nudged Mandy. She didn't wake up the first time. I nudged her again, and she was like, "What?" And I just stuck my hand up.
And as soon as she did, the look on her face, I whispered, "Do I need to get the gun?" And she went. So I had my gun with me in the backpack right there, which of course felt like it took fucking forever to pull out of the backpack. And you could tell, as I'm doing this, I could feel all of the hair on my body standing on end. And we just listened. You knew something was standing outside our tent.
Because we were just literally waiting on something to look in through the window where we had it unzipped for us, to get some airflow through there.
So yeah, so we sat there for a good couple of minutes. It felt like an hour, but it was only a couple minutes because you could hear it. There was no breath, there was no movement, but every hair on our body was standing on end.
And when it got to the tent, it just stopped and it was silent. But you could sense that there was something out there. We didn't see a shadow. It was just a sense that something was standing there.
So after about a minute, where we were, the front of our tent, there was a pretty bright light across a little open parking lot field area. So we had a 6 foot wide tent, and only a couple feet was in shadow. The rest of it was light. Okay. So right in front of the door was bright. It was lit. So if something had been there,
we would have seen
it. So all of a sudden, after we're sitting there a minute, a coyote literally appears in front of the door. Didn't come up, didn't come any way because we would have seen the shadow, appeared in front of the door and ran off. So we kind of sat there for a minute, like, processing what we saw. Like, what the actual fuck was that? And so, of course, about that time, I'm like, oh, I gotta pee, but I am not going out of this fucking tent. So we kind of sat there for a minute, and then we saw a cat run by, and Pam was like, well, if a cat went by, you know, the cat feels safe out there, whatever. So, okay, I went out and peed and came back in. Laid back down, you know, we kind of sat there for a minute, felt okay, laid back down. We hadn't been laid down but 10 minutes or so, and Pam was sleeping facing the back of the tent. I'm facing the door. And this was the only night I have ever slept with my gun in my hand after that point, because it really kind of freaked us out a little bit. But
when I was facing the back part of the tent, my face was literally a foot from the back of the actual back of the tent. And you could hear that walking, crunch, 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 and stood. I could just sense it standing just right outside of the tent. And I just slowly rolled myself back over, and we literally laid there.
This is very, very weird. And there we go.
Here we go. Sorry.
So hopefully you guys got that. That was very weird. So we don't know what
I don't know what you heard, but basically the things that we heard walking up to the tent where it was standing right where I was laying. It never walked off. I never heard the sound of it walking off. It was just gone.
It was just gone. And then not that much longer, it was right about the time that the sun was coming up, we heard the craziest noise down the river a little bit. We knew it was an owl, but we didn't know what kind of owl. So on the way home, then that day, I had to go through YouTube and listen to different owls, and we found out that it was a barred owl, not a barn, but a barred, B-A-R-R-E-D. And they are actually symbols of protection. And this, I have never heard one in the wild before, and I'm not gonna lie, it was one of the creepiest sounds I've ever heard.
I don't think that it was a cloaked Bigfoot. I know that people have said when Bigfoot was around that you can smell. It has a really bad odor. There was nothing like that at all. So
yeah, we
truly feel like it was a skinwalker. So,
and we talked about it on the way home too. There was a point where both of us thought about telling the other one, "Hey, we need to go get in the car." Like, it was that much of a sense of danger. So it was very interesting. So we've talked about going camping again, and it probably won't be in a tent. Just saying. So yeah, but yeah, we really feel like it was something, because it would have been different if we had watched the coyote run up. It would have been different if we had heard, because a coyote makes a much different sound than a human does. It's dog feet walking around.
I don't know that we felt truly, when we reflect back on it, that it was something that was there to harm us. If it was, we literally had everything surrounded in white protective light, which is what I do before we even go to sleep at night. I do it at my house. I do it for Mandy here. I do it for my mom. I do it for my family. So we were surrounded in white protective light. I don't know if everything was at that parameter and just, couldn't penetrate or come any closer to us, whether it was bad and we were protected, or if it was something that was protecting us and just checking on us. I really don't know.
Yeah. It was a very, very interesting experience. And one of the things that we did before we left was to grab some of our ashes from that campfire, because it still was smoldering slightly. So, yeah. Yeah. Tara said, Pam just said penetrate. Pam's looking for wood, and Pam said penetrate. Thanks, Tara. I feel like we need the Beavis and Butthead, like, laugh right there. So, all right. All right. So, let's talk about another wonderful Irish cryptid. Are y'all ready? So this one is the Marrow. So these are basically Irish mermaids. The Marrow men are usually pretty ugly. They're pretty hideous. They're very, very scary looking. Whereas the females are strikingly beautiful. Like, men would get obsessed with them. They're not really to be they're not technically mermaids because they don't have the fish feet. So instead they have human-like legs, but they do have large flat feet, and they have very large webbed fingers for swimming. So they're like people that live under the water. One of their main abilities to travel in water sometimes is gained from their clothing. Sometimes it's feet. It depends what part of Ireland the superstition is coming from, or the cryptid version is coming from. Some people say that it is a red feathered cap. Some say that they have a sealskin cape. But for her to walk on land, like for the woman to walk on land, she has to take off whatever that is. So if she is on land and a man finds these garments and hides them, then she has to become his wife and cannot return to the ocean. So a lot of men would love to catch one of these because they are usually extremely beautiful, and they are said to be very wealthy because they can get treasures from the ocean floor. But if she ever finds her garments, she will take them and go back to the ocean. She will leave her husband, her kids, everything, and go back to the ocean. So
does he have to keep them?
He has to keep them hidden. So there's a lot.
He can't get rid of them.
Right,
okay.
Right. He has to keep them.
Because I'd be like, I'd burn them.
Yeah, he has to keep them hidden. So yeah, so that's another interesting one to look up is the Marrow. So do you have another one you're going to talk about?
No, we did. Yeah, we didn't see in 1957 that a mermaid was strung up.
I saw a weird video on TikTok going around from, I want to say somewhere in Portugal, where it looked like they caught something very interesting. There were people walking down a path, and they looked down, and it looks like a man, but he has big old long ears, and big old humongous hands, but he's up on a rock, and he flips like his legs up, and it's actually a tail. And when they yell at it, it goes back in the water. It's really crazy. So I don't know where that one is on TikTok. I liked it so I could find it again. So I might have to duet it or something because it was really cool.
So my last one is the little people. The little people there's pretty much a version of little people in every culture. Mine specifically, there was actually, I don't even know what you would call it, a village, because you can't really see where they live. You can't see their interactions because it's just, I feel like it's on the other side of the veil, or on the other side. It's on a different plane. But you can hear them rustling around and talking. But as soon as you realize what you're hearing and knowing that, nothing lives behind your house, it stops immediately. And it's like as soon as they know that someone is listening to them, they cut off all communication. So, and it's also was said that if you were walking through the woods at night, that they would make you very dizzy and very sleepy, and that you would sit down or lie down to just kind of gather yourself, and that they would put you into a trance-like sleep and take you to their realm, basically, and you don't remember anything, but you wake up the next morning where you sat down or laid down in the woods. So I truly believe in the little people. There was an encampment, or where it was that they lived, behind the house where I grew up, and my grandmother would hear them all the time.
So there's a lot of stories about little people all over the world. So it's like, even talking about it, I get goosebumps. My hair kind of stands on end. So I mean, these could be considered leprechauns. They could be considered goblins. They could be considered gnomes, trolls, things like that. Little people. But usually people would leave offerings to them to make them happy, to appease them, etc. So yeah, if you guys are interested in looking up little people, I totally would fall down that rabbit hole. They're very, very interesting to look up. The last one I'm going to talk about before we start talking about some, just in general ones around the world that were really cool, is the Kelpie. So I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with or have heard about the Kelpie, but the Kelpie are water spirits. They're not very nice water spirits. They're very, very evil water spirits. So they hide in rivers and lakes in Ireland. They usually appear as a horse again, but they're always wet. They always have a soaking wet mane and tail. So they usually are cute, and they look like they're distressed because their hair is wet, and they look like they've been stuck in the water. And so you go to help them, especially children, and so they will entice someone to get on them. They're so nice and sweet. And you get... What?
She said she's heard of the Kelpie.
Yep.
I hadn't before this.
So once you get on them, that you're trapped. And now they will usually ride into the water and drown you. And then they will eat you. And they pretty much leave your heart and your liver. And that's about it. So they've also been known to appear as very handsome men. Sometimes, beautiful women, but usually as men. So they can be trapped just like one of the marrow can be. They can be trapped if a human can steal their silver bridle. So there are many stories that women have married a Kelpie in human form. And so this is, for the woman's side. What is that one?
It says it seems like a jinn.
Well, not really. So jinn are a completely different thing. Jinn are technically not a cryptid. They are the third race.
Whoa.
So, hang on.
This one about the grandma. Whoa.
So somebody said something about, I was in an encampment when I was a child. My great-grandmother gave an offering and I was returned. So we're going to talk about that here in just a second when we talk about changelings. So with jinn, there's not a lot of lore on jinn because a lot of the temples and places where scrolls were kept about the jinn were burnt throughout the Middle East. The jinn are actually considered, I love me some jinn, so don't get me on the subject, but somebody said jinn, so here we go. The jinn are actually considered the third race. So there's angels and there's demons. So angels are in heaven, demons are in hell. The jinn are said to be the third race here on earth. This is where the term genie comes from. There are actually 4 different races of jinn, and there are a few of them. So the one that looks like the traditional, the big blue genie in a bottle, this is actually one specific race, and they only appear to someone if they feel that person is worthy. But yes, there are several of them. One of my favorites, believe it or not, is the Ifrit race. These are ones that do appear like demons. They appear in fire. Their skin sometimes looks like cracked lava where you can see the fire underneath. They all have, every race of jinn has glowing eyes. They usually look like fire and they kind of smoke out the side. I do love how the American Gods series portrayed the jinn to look. It was very, very cool. So if you guys are interested in finding out about jinn, they're a very, very interesting thing to find out about. I personally do not believe all jinn are evil as they have been painted throughout time, but I also don't believe that all demons are bad, nor are all angels good. So somebody that was talking about their grandmother made an offering, great-grandmother, and they were given back. We were going to talk about
her great-grandmother
changelings.
Was 3'9" and was from England. I bet she was a little spitfire.
Oh yeah. So our next cryptid we were going to talk about are changelings. This is something, while it is an Irish thing, it's also throughout the world. So most people have heard of a changeling. This is where a human child is stolen by the Fae, because fairy babies in general are pretty ugly. They're pretty ugly. And fairies like beautiful things, so they will usually change their baby for a human baby, or they will take that baby and they will put an elderly fairy in disguise to look like that infant. A lot of these changelings usually they screamed all day. They would feed anytime the family would have good fortune. They would feed on that, and they would take it and turn it into some kind of a disaster. And then that right there was their happiness, was when the family was really, really, really having a bad time. As they grow up, they are drawn toward instruments, and they have a natural musical ability, and they had such an amazing ability with it that they could put anyone into a trance when they played to do, whatever. So changelings are something that are kind of known about throughout the world. I'm going to talk about this next one because it is one of my personal favorites. I love talking about these almost as much as I like talking about Jinn. The Naga. So how many of you guys have heard of Naga? Pam actually had not. The first time I ever heard about the Naga was, believe it or not, this shows my nerd side, in World of Warcraft. I was fascinated with how the Naga were portrayed there because they're kind of portrayed as evil in some areas. So the Naga are a half human, half cobra cryptid. They are prominent in Buddhism, in Hinduism, in Jainism, and in a lot of places around Thailand, the Philippines, the Asian Peninsula, and so on. So depending on what culture they come from, depends on the background, the lore behind them. Usually they have a snake body from waist up. They're human. They're usually very handsome, very beautiful. There are men and women. They also are said to sometimes have a human form with snakes as a head, Medusa, or they're said to be a very large snake with a couple of heads, several heads. But they usually are very, very proud. They have a very interesting presence about them because they are said to be protectors of the divine. So they're usually guards for a divine entity. So they can be very overprotective. So you have to be very careful when you're around them because they will kill you pretty violently if you wander into an area that they're protecting. But they're usually very nice, and they will help if needed, as long as they're not insulted. Because like I said, they have a massive amount of pride. But there are Naga all over carvings in different temples and so on. It's one that I would absolutely love you guys to look up because Naga are amazing. So some said, Pam, you need a flashlight on your face. Oh, she's getting it now. So, do you want to talk about this one, or do you want me to talk about this one? The Rake.
The Rake is a creature believed to be a humanoid in appearance with several references in folklore and horrific urban legends, originally appearing on the internet as a creepypasta. The creature reportedly attacks humans for unknown reasons, and it often causes its victims great psychological trauma. Several theories as to its development point toward internet threads and online discussions. However, others believe alcoholic delusions fueled the idea of the creature before then. The Rake has also been tied to alternate figures such as Slender Man, an internet meme
somebody mentioned,
and subject of several video games. It's based on ancient folklore referencing an unnaturally tall and skinny man mysteriously lurking in the woods. It is theorized that the Rake could possibly be a proxy of Slender Man, subject to its own self-mutilation and psychological disorders. A YouTube channel showing images and footage captured of the Rake was closed down, but if you search the Rake caught on tape, you will find a half-hour video showing you these episodes.
Mm-hmm. So the Rake are something that, if my hair stands up, this is one that I'm actually a little nervous about. Because just looking at the pictures of them, even the drawings of them, they're usually very tall. They're almost always pretty white, pretty pale, sometimes a light gray. They have humongous black eyes. They're not quite like shadow children because they're usually pretty tall. But they are said to take people. They are not in any way something you want to fuck with. But sometimes some people do say that Slenderman came off of the Legends of the Rake or vice versa, whatever. But yeah, they're very, very interesting. They're not something you really kind of want to fuck around with. So is it time to change the lights again? I think it's time to change the lights again. What was the next color?
Green.
Green. We going to green? Let me see. Green. Green.
Ooh. Yikes.
Green. There you go. Green. So let's see. The Mothman. A lot of you guys probably have heard of the Mothman, especially if you're in the U.S. So this usually is in West Virginia. Sometimes in the Virginias themselves. The Mothman is kind of a humanoid creature that's usually around the Point Pleasant area. It was back in the 60s, but there have been a lot of sightings since, and there's been a lot of shows and supernatural shows that have done something on the Mothman. It's just a humongous man-like beast with massive wings. He usually has red eyes. Some of the people that have seen him or come in contact with the Mothman have had a lot of damage done to their car, to their property. Usually it's to a car.
But they think he was a messenger,
yeah,
like warning people before big, huge, tragic accidents happen.
Mm-hmm. So some people see him as good, some people see him as bad. There is actually a film that Richard Gere was in about the Mothman. So I'm looking to see if I actually have the name of the film on here. I guess I don't.
Silver Bridge.
Well, that's
the Silver Bridge.
So no. I don't remember. Anyway.
Oh, the book was later adapted.
Yeah, so there, I can't remember.
Prophecies.
I've seen it. It's a pretty good one, but
it's the Mothman Prophecies.
Oh, there we go. But yeah, there's actually a festival for him every year in Point Pleasant. So yeah, the Mothman is an interesting one. Oh, yep, somebody just said it. Mothman prophecies. Words. Mandy can't always words. You want to talk about the Bunyip?
Is that how it's pronounced?
Mm-hmm.
It's spelled two different ways.
Oh, it's Bunyip. I spelled it wrong up there.
The Bunyip is a creature from Australia in Aboriginal mythology said to lurk in swamps, billabongs, creeks, riverbeds, and watering holes. The Bunyip is part traditional Aboriginal beliefs and stories throughout Australia, while its name varies according to tribal
nomenclature.
Oh my God.
So this thing looks like normally a humongous, almost saber-tooth typed cat. But it does almost have a man-like form to its upper bodies, It's like upper body, its arms, and so on. Sometimes people have said that they've seen it have more of the face of a man with a huge snout and stuff like a cat. It's definitely a very interesting one because when you hear the term bunyip, you almost think it's like some evil bunny or something like that. Not this massive, weird humanoid cat saber-tooth thing. And it usually has extremely long fangs. Not just like saber-tooth fangs, but like long like this. And they're said to actually carry people off in their jaws. So they are a very, very massive beast. So the next one I want to talk about is also one of my favorites. This one is the Leviathan. So the Leviathan, unfortunately, has gotten a very, very bad rap with most people associate the Leviathan with the Church of Satan and all this stuff. That is not actually the case. So the Leviathan itself, in Hebrew, Leviathan means whale. But this is a massive serpent type creature. Depending on what culture you're looking at the Leviathan in, you'll see it as like a huge serpent. You'll see it as a serpent with multiple heads. You'll see it as almost like a kraken type thing. Sometimes it's just this massive behemoth that lives beneath the water. it is said to be one of the 7 princes of hell, but the Leviathan itself is kind of, it's supposed to be the demon of envy. So it usually pops out when something is very envious around your life or around somebody in general. I always love to point back to Supernatural with this, because if you guys are fans of Supernatural, you ever watched it, Castiel actually had a Leviathan take him over. In this, it's like an inky black creature that can shapeshift. Some cultures do believe that the Leviathan can shapeshift, and that they can entice people to be taken over, and so on. So it just kind of depends on what you're looking at when it comes to the Leviathan. But yeah, I actually think it's a very, very unique type of cryptid, because depending on what culture or religion you're looking at it with, it can be super evil or it can be protective, believe it or not. So yeah, I'm gonna scroll this down so we can actually read this one. We got our cheat sheet here. So do you want to read this one, or would you like me to?
How do you say it? Ahul?
Ahul
are enormous carnivorous bat that are said to inhabit the rainforests of Java in Indonesia, believed to have a wingspan in excess of 10 feet, making them roughly the size of a condor. Ahuls are said to be covered in a thick brown or black fur like fruit bats, but unlike bats, have long, powerful legs and claws, are supposedly capable of pouncing on and snatching up live prey, including humans, if the stories are to be believed, from open ground. Sightings of ahuls are often dismissed simply as a mistaken glimpse of owls, eagles, and other large birds of prey that inhabit the same rainforests. But some sources claim the creatures do indeed exist and may even be an isolated and as yet undiscovered species descended from petrosaurs.
So if you guys ever watch a show called Expedition Unknown, or I think it's Expedition Unknown,
Yeah.
but Josh Gates actually goes to Madagascar, because there is a version of this there, but it is white. And I can't remember the name of it, but they actually find some evidence of large bat claws about that big. If you guys have ever seen a bat claw, even for fruit bats, they're only about like this. So if you can imagine the foot that a bat claw that size, and we're talking about a huge curved claw, would come from. It's really, really interesting. So I love me some Josh Gates, man, and his wife and I follow each other on Instagram. She has a really cool
Josh.
Yeah, she has a really cool account too. But yeah, it's really cool. If you guys have never watched it, I think they're on Hulu, but it's Expedition Unknown. He also now does...
It's called Ahul is what we're talking about. What was do you know the name of the thing in Madagascar?
I can't remember that one, but there's actually like a huge legend there about it. It is on Expedition Unknown, and what is the other one he's on now? Destination Truth.
Destination Truth.
Yeah. So I can't remember which one.
Expedition Unknown.
Yeah, Expedition Unknown and
Destination Truth was the first one that he did.
So if you guys have never watched those, I highly recommend it. And somebody pointed out that he's very respectful of other cultures. He is, and that is what makes me really love watching Josh Gates on anything, because he is extremely respectful. He actually, this is off subject, but he actually did a 5-part series with one of those shows that was all about the culture and beliefs of reincarnation, death, etc. It's 5 episodes in one of his shows, and if you'd ever watch anything else, I highly recommend you watch those. They're very well done. They're very well documented. And he was actually granted access to some very enclosed practices. So yeah, I highly recommend watching those. Let's see what's on here. I can't believe it's already almost 11. You guys let us talk that long? Shit. Let's see how many we got here. Oh, shit. I got a lot on that one. Damn. Okay. Well, we're not going to talk as much about this one, because we will answer a few questions if I can read here. But let's talk about the basilisks. How about that? So most of you guys are probably familiar with the basilisk from Harry Potter. But the basilisk is actually a king snake, and king because it's supposed to have kind of an interesting, almost crown-shaped thing on its head. there's a lot of basilisks throughout history. The first account of one is actually in 79 AD. So that's a really long time ago. That's a couple thousand years ago. But he called the description of it is a monstrous cow-like creature who had all of his eyes. If his eyes fell on something, it would cause that thing to fall dead. So he talks about the same power is also in the serpent called the basilisk. So the very first mention of the basilisk, and that they could kill something or someone with just a look. Some people say that Medusa is technically a basilisk. These things are massive, and they usually, I actually like the way that Harry Potter, the CGI does the basilisk in there, because that is pretty true to how the legends about them look. People that have seen them or supposedly have seen them describe the snake as being, 10, 12 feet long, big, humongous trunk, bigger than the size of a man. According to lore, they're more like 70 or 80 feet long, but they are massive, massive snakes. I'm not a snake fan anyway, so this one, while it's cool as hell, it also terrifies the shit out of me, because their poison is said to be so deadly that just wiping it on you could kill you. So it's a very, very dreadful monster. So let's see here. The Greys are not our friends.
They're talking about aliens.
Yo, yeah, I see that. So, yeah. So what kind of cryptids are some of y'all's favorites? I know we covered a lot just quickly, because we wanted to make sure we had, well, we didn't want to overwhelm or go for 4 or 5 hours, but we still have a little bit. If you guys would like to ask questions, or we can talk about superstitions or cryptids, or what we did for Friday the 13th. And in the meantime, I now have it on my profile here. If you guys would like to book a session with the amazing Pam, with me, you can go on there and book through trilliumspiritualcenter.com. You can also order some of our teas, some of our jars. I don't have all our teas on there yet. They will be on there tomorrow. These include our shamanic teas. They include some of our herbal teas. We do have a tea called Fuck Getting Sick that was designed to help with the symptoms of COVID. We have a unique tea called V Tea that we made for V Neal, the makeup artist, that has a lot of stuff for inflammation, for lung function, for COVID, etc. So yeah, we will have an amazing array of teas on the website tomorrow. But yeah, if you guys would like to book with one of us, Pam does dream interpretation, night terror cleansing. We both do oracle card readings. Of course, I do my aura services, but we have a wide array of services. We also are happy to do spiritual coaching. You can spoken with before, and they are being respectful. So wait, hang on. So somebody said, still buffering. There we go.
There we go.
So somebody had asked a question about how to greet a spirit that was not nice, but you wanted to be respectful. Don't talk to it. Don't talk to it.
I would not engage with anything that was not being anything but knowing what your boundaries are.
Yeah. If you have something that is trying to talk to you, and it's not something very nice, it's not nice, tell it to get the fuck out. It doesn't need to be there. It doesn't need to be talking to you.
Something's repeating?
Yeah, I guess when we were buffering, it was repeating.
Oh.
So, yeah, if you have something that's coming across, guys, and it's not nice, you just feel the energy is not nice, whatever, it needs to leave.
And you tell it, and you be forceful, and you tell it, no, we're not doing this. You get out of my space. You are not welcome here.
Yeah. So there you go. If you have a spirit coming in that you feel the energy is okay from, that it's being respectful, it's being nice, or so on, greet it, but greet it cautiously, because sometimes things that are not very nice can come in under the guise of being good.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So if you've set your boundaries up from the get-go, of what you expect and not what will not happen will happen, what you will accept, what you will not accept, then those things you should be okay.
Yeah. So someone asked about saging and so on. So if it's in your place, if it's in your house or whatever, I would not just sage that. I would get some yerba santa. I would apologize to the good things that are there that you want to bring back in, but I would get some yerba santa and I would nuke the shit out of that space.
Ask him what I have on.
So, do what?
Ask him what I'm wearing.
What are you wearing? Which one? Pam's got a whole bunch. I was going to say, we both usually have a whole bunch on. But what I would do first, so you need to go through, get yerba santa, get sage, and a holy wood, whether it's Palo Santo, cedar, sandalwood, whatever. You can use any type of sage you prefer. All sage has natural ability. Sage actually doesn't clear things out. What sage does is it creates a vacuum. Sage is inviting the good spirits in. So when you're inviting the good spirits in, it's pushing the bad out. It creates a vacuum. So you're not actually getting rid of something bad when you're saging. You're just bringing more good in. So if you are really wanting to get rid of this thing, you need to get you some yerba santa, some sage, and a holy wood. And then you want to go through the entire house. You want to open every cabinet, every drawer, every closet, anything something could hide in. Jewelry boxes, shoe box. I mean, literally anything at all that could be where something is hiding in. Treat it like smoke could be hiding in your house. Does that make sense? And then you want to work, what I would do personally is work your way counterclockwise around the house. You want to start from an outside door, usually the front door, go counterclockwise, act like you're painting the floor, but you want to make sure that that smoke from the yerba santa gets in everything, the drawers, the cabinets, the closets. Use a smudge wand if you need to, so on. And then you repeat this process with the sage and the holy wood. Now, you can do the sage and the holy wood together. That's what I do. It's kind of a little shortcut cheat sheet. But do the yerba santa first by itself. If you have a multi-level house, you'll have to start at the top, go down to the ground floor, and then work your way towards however you get down, whether it's a basement or a stairwell or whatever. Work your way around the bottom and then finish the ground floor. And once you get to the door, I usually do not open an outside door and do not open an outside window until you are done with every room. What I will do is go to the door, I'll open it a little bit, and I will literally take my sage and I will fling the smoke outside. So I'll let Pam talk about that, what she's wearing.
This is, you can call it larkovite or black labradorite. It is called a pie stone. It is for shamanic work. And I wear it 24/7. I even shower in it.
Mm-hmm. Mine is the same. So mine is not the same stone. Mine is blue serpentine. But yeah, I don't take mine off either. What is a way to bring good vibes and luck back into your life? Malachite, tiger's eye, sage. You can always sage your house. You can sage yourself.
Meditation. With positive affirmations.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a perfect way to do it.
Yeah.
You can meditate to hurts that you can literally on YouTube put in hurts for to feel good, to rid depression, to rid anxiety. You can find anything that you need to listen to some meditative music.
Mm-hmm. So guys, this is one thing that Pam and I say all the time. Trust your gut. If you feel more comfortable using stones, do that. If you feel more comfortable meditating, do that. If you feel comfortable using different waters or oil, do that. You guys have an amazing intuition. Every single person watching this, you have an amazing intuition. Trust your gut. Okay?
Somebody was asking where I was from. The town is called Gore, and it is down by Lake Tenkiller, at the bottom part of Lake Tenkiller, and I live going towards the lake. I grew up there. I live in up here in Tulsa now.
So, any other questions, guys? because it is almost 11, so we are going to head
No,
out.
I
if
don't
there's
know
no more
her.
questions.
Guys, I would love for you to follow me as well.
So I'm going to have Pam get on there and add her little thing so you guys can go through and follow at Native Dreamwalker. If you guys don't already catch us on Tuesdays, I do a live with oracle card readings for the signs every Tuesday. And if you don't catch us on Fridays, you are now.
They want to know where they can read more about the veil disappearing.
Oh, okay. You guys want to know about the veil disappearing. So if you look online, you'll find a lot of information about it. There's a lot of mixed thoughts about this. You'll find it all over TikTok. There's actually an account called the Matriarch of Time that has several videos about this. I kind of believe the same way that the Mayans actually did not predict the end of the earth in 2012. They predicted the end of the veil because the earth and the veil go through resets. We are coming up on one. So I believe also, as there's a big theory about this, that the Mayans predicted the end of the veil, and it wasn't actually 2012, it's 2021. And so that time is actually coming up very, very quickly. I personally feel like it's in September. So do a lot of other people in the spiritual realm. So if you guys look on TikTok at all, you'll see a lot of things. If you just type in the veil, or if you know what I mean, like, and once you start looking at a couple of videos like that, you'll pull up a whole bunch. Like your For You will start pulling up a whole bunch.
And do we have kits left?
We do. So we actually talked about this last Friday on our live. You can actually do your part to save parts of the veil. And there's where somebody just asking you how to do coding for the veil. So the veil, here's the best way to explain this. If you look at the earth as almost the equator of the universe, you have the veil on one side. So if you split the earth in half, you know what I mean? Like the earth is the buffer zone. You have the veil on one side. So the veil is this is all the spiritual stuff over here when people pass away, higher realms, etc. On the other side, you have nothing. You have dark matter. You have darkness, literally the dark. You have the light and the dark, and the earth is the buffer zone. The veil is what runs through the earth to keep those things apart. When it goes through a reset, it disintegrates. And when it disintegrates, there are places that hold onto it a little tighter. These are usually places that are very spiritual for any culture. It's not just Christianity or Native Americans, whatever. It's every culture. Every culture has its own holy spaces. There are portals. There are other places that are considered holy places. So when it comes to saving some of that matrix or that coding of the veil, the universe's coding of the veil, you can actually get a Lemurian quartz or a cracked quartz. This is the next best thing to a Lemurian quartz. Lemurian quartz are able to record the DNA of things such as the veil. They are able to record that code. Cracked quartz will do the same thing. There's a recipe on my TikTok that Pam and I did a bunch of research and put it together on how to kind of save the veil itself, save a piece of it. So not only do we go through the ingredients, like what you need to, but also the instructions, and you guys can pick that up on your own. We do have kits on our site. They're a whopping $10 just to kind of cover our costs. But don't think you have to buy something from us. We have the recipe on my TikTok. You guys can gather what you want. So hang on, what was this? Wood. That could be the veil. Somebody said, would seeing silver, shimmery, or foggy area without explanation be the veil? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So the veil itself appears in different ways in some places. Sometimes it can be silvery, shimmery. Sometimes it can look foggy. Sometimes it can almost look like a distortion. What's going on right now is that with the veil falling and with it faltering in a lot of places, there's a lot of glitches in the matrix. If you guys look that up on TikTok or on social media, you will get bombarded. And as you fall down that rabbit hole, it's pretty fucking scary. And you'll start to notice them. Now that we're kind of talking about it, y'all will start to notice these glitches. Sometimes it can be as easy as, okay, I set this crystal here, and Pam and I turned around to go get something to eat, and now it's here. Why would it fucking be there? Nobody touched it. You'll notice things like that. So, yeah. So someone said, can you do a teaching of what we need to do? So if you watch that video, I go through what it is that you need to do. But basically what you would do would be to gather these ingredients. And I'd have to go grab my list since I can't pull it up on my phone. But you would gather these different ingredients. You would grab a velvet or a leather bag. Velvet is considered something very elegant and regal and protective. Leather is inner strength and so on. You put all of these ingredients in there. You put your quartz in there. I'm just showing this one. This is a cracked quartz. It's not a Lemurian. But you put your quartz in there. You find a holy space that's holy to you. Now, here's the thing, guys. Please, if you guys do this, please don't trespass. Don't go in anywhere that's unsafe, like a building falling down or something like that. Like, please don't do that. Make sure you have permission to be there, okay? Don't just head out to some stomp ground, Native American stomp grounds, if you have no permission to be there. Don't just go into a church if you have no permission to be there, okay? Because we don't want you guys getting in trouble or anything like that.
Or hurt.
So yeah, don't trespass. But what you want to do would be to go to that space. You want to take the crystal out of the bag, out of the herbs that are in there, literally set it down on the ground where you feel like the veil is the strongest. You feel like the energy there is the strongest. Set it on the ground, okay? Before you sit down next to it, you want to put your intention into it. Program that you're programming the code, that part of the veil, into that crystal, that you're wanting to save that part of it. You don't want to put it in there. You want to save the coding. It's like you want to copy the coding. So sit down, meditate by the crystal, talk to your spirit guides, your ancestors, your deities.
Talk to the veil.
Talk to the veil itself as you're meditating, and just explain what you're doing. That you want to save that part of the code so that part of the veil can be regenerated when it's time. And then, yes, you put this back in the bag with the herbs and seal it up, because the herbs, the recipe that we designed for it, there's a lot of very protective herbs in there. There's a lot of very loving herbs. There's a lot of regeneration herbs. There's a massive amount of herbs in there.
Guys, imagine if we could get people all over the world who are going to do this and who are going to be keeping the DNA, the code of the veil in a safe place so that it's always there.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you move, take it with you. It doesn't mean that just because you moved across the country that you have to get rid of this part of the veil. No, you
Mm-hmm.
take it with you. It's always going to be protected.
Mm-hmm. And I had somebody on TikTok that tagged me in somebody else's video or whatever, and this person is supposed to be a druid. They walk a druidic path.
It's already on TikTok, guys.
Yeah.
She already has a TikTok that she's done explaining and all the ingredients that you need and how to go about it. So just whenever we get finished here, just go and take a look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. Someone said, I came across mustard seed at a local shop and I may use it. This recipe is not an end all, okay? So if you're putting your recipe together based on, what we designed, and you feel like, I need to add mustard seed, I need to add cedar, I need to add this, do it. Absolutely.
Yes, Sabrina, it comes with the crystal.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it comes with a small one. If you want to go to multiple places, you're going to need to get your own other small ones, or you can use a larger one for multiple areas.
Yeah. So use your intuition, guys. If you're trying to gather, if you want to gather your ingredients on your own, on Amazon, there's a whole bunch of different places that have the Lemurian quartz, and you can buy a bag of them for like $10 or $15. Like they're not much. They're kind of expensive, but they're not much. Or you can get a cracked quartz, like the one I have here. This is a pretty large cracked quartz. This right here would capture a massive amount of the veil in it. Nothing we put in that kit or in that recipe is expensive. The only thing that's kind of expensive is Blue Lotus, and sometimes that's kind of hard to find. But yeah, if you guys want to order a kit, we do still have a few left. But yeah, that recipe and all of that is here on my TikTok. And if you go to our live replay or you go to our YouTube, it's actually on there as well.
You're going to go to a place that you feel is sacred to you. Mm-hmm. It could literally be a waterfall in the woods where you feel a massive amount of energy. It could be a place where you know is an energy vortex or something along those lines.
Somebody asked if a portal was a bad place to go. I actually don't think so, and here's why. Because a portal is a place that has the ability to not only split the veil or offer a way to get back and forth, but it's usually stable, and it's usually not something that somebody has just punched a hole in the veil. So the veil is actually very strong around it because it's holding that portal there. So yeah, I would say
absolutely, if your backyard is sacred to you, mm-hmm. and you feel energy when you're there, absolutely, it mm-hmm. is what it means to you.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. Exactly. Houses need door frames. But I mean, if you think about it, especially a portal that you know is there, that's been there for a while, that tells me that area around the veil around that is stable, that it's nice and tough mm-hmm. and stable because it's holding that portal in place. If it's one that's not stable, I don't know that I would really use that one. So yeah. What if you took some of the portal from the Lion's Gate into you? Well, I would say that you are now a master manifester, and that sounded really weird to say, but you can manifest some shit.
Oh yeah, Sabrina, absolutely. Just make sure that wherever you're going, that you're okay to be there, safe to be there. Mm-hmm. You don't put yourself in any kind of danger. If you literally have felt like when you went into a building or a store, you know, in your travels or where you live, and you could just like feel different in there, you just feel a lot of energy when you're in that place, do it there.
Yeah,
literally set the crystal down in the middle of aisle 3 and do what you got to do. I mean, it does. Who's to say, you know, it's on land, who's to say that land isn't sacred in some way, shape, or form? Because more than likely it is.
Yeah. Well, guys, it's after 11, and we've been talking for a couple hours now, non-stop. So we're going to head out. I will put this on YouTube. It's also on the live replay. So if you guys missed part of it, this was our wonderful Friday the 13th about superstitions and cryptids. Next week, we'll kind of return to normal, where we'll have 3 different topics, and we'll talk about those 3 topics for the first hour. And then the second hour, we will literally answer all your spiritual questions.
We will try to. We get so many and they get to going. So
I will not wear black contacts next week, so I can actually read a little better because I'm having to do this repeatedly. But hey, they look cool, right? So anyway, we love seeing you guys, and I hope you guys had fun, learned a lot, and happy Friday the 13th. We'll see you
have a
later.
Good evening. Bye.
Well, maybe.